Got you right.
All right, what's up?
All right, I got my main man Jim Jonsin here, Lucid Dream Entertainment Group, super producer.
Right.
What's going on, Jim? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. How you?
Oh man, can't complain. Let me ask you a couple quick questions. How long you been doing what you've been doing now?
I can't tell you that, man. Make me
Oh.
look old.
Well, you've been around for a while.
I produced
obviously.
my first record in 1988,
Wow.
so that's a while ago.
So obviously, from that time span to now, you've grown a lot and been able to work with a lot of top-notch artists. What would you say is the difference in terms of working with a seasoned artist and a brand new artist like our artist Yashi?
Well, seasoned artists have spent a lot of time recording in the studio. They've performed. They understand the connection to the studio to the performance and how songs go over on stage and all that. They also they spend a lot of time in the studio, so they know exactly what to do and when, controlling their voice and all that. And then most new artists, they are learning, in the studio how to, record and
Proper etiquette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yashi's got it.
Mm.
She really knows what she's doing. It's not really. She's very seasoned, so she doesn't have any of those issues. Yeah, but I like working with new artists. It's something, you can create new stuff and shit. If you get a big hit on a new artist, break a new artist, it's awesome.
Definitely. Now let me ask you this: in terms of working with a new artist, what would you say? What would you say to up and coming artists, seeking to get good production from someone like you? What route would you tell them to go to find a Jim Jonsin?
Oh boy, they can go to beatbakery.com and they can check me out on there, and that's a songwriter producer website for networking, and I'm a partner in the site, so I'm heavy into it. Like, I'm a big part of that. So that's how you would do it.
Awesome. So another quick question now, in terms of some of the artists that you've worked with, what has been your most favorable experience or your most joyful experience in terms of producing a record? Like, how do you go about crafting a record? Do you just base it upon that artist, or what is whatever you're feeling at that time?
It depends on the artist. It depends on the situation. If I'm working with a songwriter who is also a producer, we kind of co-produce together, or if I produce it myself. It depends on the situation. For example, if I work with Beyonce, which she was an unbelievable artist to work with, she played a role in making the record. She gave us ideas of what direction she wanted to go in, and I worked with Rico Love and this guy D-Town. We kind of worked together on writing and producing the songs. So it was a team effort. Then there's songs that I do, like I produced with T.I., kind of by myself with him, and then there's, it's different situations with different artists. But my most memorable, and there's so many good times in the studio that I really can't pinpoint that.
Right. Now I gotta ask you this question. Now you a brother from another persuasion, if you will,
Right.
with all this soul.
Right.
Where did you get your soul from in terms of, just, is it come from just your DJ background, or is it just you just love great music? Because I know people trip out when they say, who's this guy making all this great soulful music and great sounding music that has all, this rhythm in it?
Where did I get it from? I get it from my mom. I grew up listening to hip hop. I was DJing during the early stages of hip hop. My mother listened to R&B and disco music.
Wow.
And my father listened to rock and roll, so I got a little influence from everything. I've always loved rock and roll, and I've loved soul music. It's got feeling. If the music doesn't give me a feeling, goosebumps or whatever, that's why it's always music and chord changes.
Right.
That feel good in my music, or feel like some emotion. And I grew up around white folk, black folk, Spanish, a little bit of every type of people I've been around.
A good pot of gumbo.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I could say that just being around the right people gave
Definitely.
me that influence.
Well, one last question. What would you say to an up-and-coming producer trying to get into the game would be one of the best, what would be a great attribute to bring to the game, or one of the best ways to get started?
I think the probably the most important thing for them to have is patience. And they should take their time making their music sound good and make sure it does have a quality to it. It sounds good and big because they're going against some professionals. And then another important thing is, you know, if it's not broke, you don't have to fix it. There's tons of hit records you can borrow ideas from and get influenced by. Don't sit in a room trying to be, you know, super over creative and, you know, nitpick every little thing you do. If it feels good, lay it down and record it. That's it. And then, you know, etiquette. Just knowing what to say and when to say it, and be that person that's kind of like a chameleon in the studio. When you're in a new session with a new artist, you got to be a chameleon. You got to leave the attitude at home.
Wow.
That's the most important thing.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, Jimmy.
And then one more thing.
Go ahead.
Sign to the right management company.
Sign to the right management.
That's right.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, it's been a pleasure. Lucid Dream Entertainment Group, it's your man, Big L. We repping Jim Jonsin, mega producer, humble guy, definitely.
Watch me in 09, all right?
09, baby.
I'm getting in the gym.
Come work out with us.